announcement via the R&B Housebuilder Forum in relation to Stark. We should have John Carter, our CEO, on the call shortly, but we've got Helena Bradley, who has been steering.
You've muted yourself, Edwin.
Hi. So I don't know if I missed something there. So before I hand over to Helena, what I'd like to do is firstly to say a special thank you, really, to our founding sponsors that have brought the R&B Housebuilder website together with Anna and Aaron and myself in terms of it, and that is Velux, Hansgrohe, Knauf, and Imperial Bricks. So without you championing the interest of SME house builders, perhaps we wouldn't be where we are today. So thank you to our founding sponsors. I'd also like to say a huge thank you. Helena and I have been on calls on Friday and this morning with some major organisations, and I'd just like to sort of note them. Obviously, the Builders Merchants Federation, John Newcomb, the HBF, Neil Jefferson, the Federation of Master Builders, which is Brian and Chris Carr, Homes England, Rosemary Leake from Homes England. From the banking world, we've got Daniel Joyce from Close Brothers Bank and Paul Sonnabend from Relendex on the call with us this afternoon. Really, a massive thank you. It's a very special afternoon, I guess, for the R&B Housebuilder Forum to be able to host such an important announcement for the company that I work for. That's as much as you're going to get from me, which you'll be pleased and delighted to hear. So I believe John Carter is now on the call, Helena. So could I just hand over to you in terms of the announcement that John and yourself would like to make?
That's great. Thank you very much, Edwin, and thank you all of you for making time at fairly short notice to come and join this call, probably wondering what on earth we were coming together to talk about. And John will share a few words in a minute, but I just wanted to tee up why we're making an announcement today. So we have industry friends from different parts of our sector joining us in this call today. So just as a way of setting context and a sort of the same starting point, I just wanted to remind us on where we are as an industry. I think we all know that this is an industry on its knees. Building and construction has not been in such a bad place as it has been for at least 50 years. And we believe that Stark and Juice and we can do something about this to try and help get the industry back on its feet again. The industry is in crisis, and we believe that we have to do something to help and support and championing our trades and our friends right across the industry. So we know loud and clear, as you do. I'm not going to preach to the converted, that would be insulting to you. Loud and clear, just the number of promises that have been made by the current government. And yet we know that this doesn't go anywhere as far as it needs to go, despite the brilliant work that it is done by our industry leaders, some of whom are on this call today. So we know that there's a real housing gap of 6.5 million. We know that we need at least 225,000 skilled tradespeople to come and build those new homes with us. And that's not even scratching the sides of those properties that are lying there, dilapidated, waiting for redevelopment to actually provide housing for people right across the full housing ladder. We know there are so many things that actually are causing this industry to feel unviable and no longer viable for businesses to continue. And that's why we see, as many of our friends here on the call today, fewer than 2,000 SME house builders now in operation. For me and for my colleagues, we feel this is just simply unacceptable. And so over the past few months, I've been listening very closely and very deeply to the things that are keeping you awake at night, the things that you have telling me that you need to get resolved to really make sure that we have a diverse pool of people who are working in the building and construction industry over the coming years and decades, with a pipeline of talent to continue this forward. We also know that building and construction is the backbone of the British economy, and we need to try and help get that from moving from a flatline situation into positive growth. So that's kind of the starting point for what I wanted to share with you today. From the many conversations that I've had with many of you on the call, and thank you very much for having given me your time and your energy around this, there are a number of things that we know we need to fix, pulling together to make a really nice and important and healthy pro-building stimulus package. But we're also very mindful that to take all of those into a kind of a broader public conversation isn't doable. But we can focus in on the most critical pieces. And this is really where Stark and Jewson and our sister brands right across the group want to be able to help. We do feel that we have an opportunity. This is not about Stark, this is not about Jewson. It's about us providing a platform to amplify your voice, to get heard, and to actually turn very important debate into action. So you will see in this fabulous little jigsaw puzzle the many blue pieces here that reflect the industry leadership voices that are ongoing and that have played their critical part to moving our industry forward. But there's one there in kind of what I'm going to call juice and coral, proudly juice and coral. We need to make sure that we're providing a public voice for our builders and our tradespeople. And that's where we feel that we can actually help make a difference. So what do we want to do, and what are we sharing with you today? The announcement I'm about to make is that we feel that by focusing on the three biggest things you tell us that are keeping you awake at night, we really hope to turn into this debate into action. The first one is we've got to get certainty into the market. We've got to make building a viable industry once again. And that means we need to start by creating demand. We need to see positive financial stimulus to actually help people get on and up or down the housing ladder, whether it's freedom to buy or whether it's actually some stamp duty relief. We need to catalyse and kickstart, importantly, that demand piece. Then we know that we actually need to sort out some of the significant supply issues. We know there are massive issues around financing. So many of you tell me that you've been using years and years and hundreds of thousands of pounds to get applications through the planning process, and yet still there's no certainty of approval at the back end of that. And actually what we need is a rules-based system that is simpler, faster and cheaper. And actually, why wouldn't we leverage AI to help unblock the issues that are causing such difficult problems at the moment? And then the third and significant part that we feel that we can amplify the voice on and put a spotlight on is the skill shortage. It's not only getting those 225,000 plus people into the building construction industry, but it's incentivizing them to come in, it's incentivizing them to stay, and it's incentivizing businesses like your good selves to actually attract and keep and retain and reward those people moving into this sector. Without the right finance support, without the right planning support, and without the right careers incentivization support, then actually this industry will continue to falter, and we simply can't let that happen. So what do we want to do? We want to, of course, get Britain building now. And so what we're going to do is we today went live with a petition to government where we aim to collect 1 million signatures, focusing on those three topics. We really want to invite all of our colleagues and all of our friends right across the industry, going into our neighbours and our friends, our family, the general public, to get behind getting building construction back on its feet again. And that then, as the backbone of the British economy, we should then see some positive growth. So we believe that actually, if we can provide that platform for voices to be heard, not only your signature, but your stories, then actually we truly believe we can take this petition into number 10 Downing Street and then have it debated in Parliament to turn it into action. So that's our invitation for you today. We're doing as Stark and Jewson and our sister brands everything we can to support and champion you, to help you protect and grow your businesses. And this is an additional way that we really hope this will help. So we want to march on Downing Street with those signatures and turn words into action. So that is where we are today. Tomorrow we launch and we've got everything ready for our colleagues to support. And then we go live 8 o'clock tomorrow with a full public launch right across the nation with the invitation to join the campaign. So I'm going to pause there and maybe ask John, who I believe is on the call, to perhaps share a few words as somebody who's been in the industry through thick and thin. John, do we have you? I know he was dipping in and out of the call. I don't know, he's driving at the moment.
We did have John. He did come in, and I think he may have just cut out Helena. Okay. I'll just WhatsApp John just if you could. To do perhaps that. We could,
as you do that, perhaps ask any of our friends on the call today for instant reactions.
I've just coming in. John's just coming back in.
and any questions that we can help to further support you. This is all about us giving you a voice and making sure that we help you in any way we can.
John, good afternoon, John. I believe you're back on the call, John. Helena just handed over for you, perhaps, to say a few words to the audience. We've got, I think, 165 on the call, John.
Hi, sorry, big technical hitch, and couldn't get through, but managed to obviously borrow a screen. Look, this is an initiative very close to my heart. It's a sector and an industry that's given me nearly 50 years of great work. I've never seen this sector as close to its knees as it is. And I genuinely believe what we're trying to do here is lift the profile to support the trade and to really have a voice that hopefully is listened to. 1 million signatures is no easy feat, but I believe it's very doable if we can all get behind this. I think when I look at the sector, and I think Helena brings it together so succinctly, the planning process for me is still totally inadequate. We need an approach that's faster, simpler, cheaper, and rules-based. And I think then gives everyone a fair chance to get their planning through and their project started and to get the Britain building again. I think, Helena quoted recently, 63 years since the UK has had no financial stimulation for the construction or building industry. Given the value that the building industry creates, clearly that's for me a real priority, and it really does start with the construction and building sector. So any financial stimulus and support that can be given, I think, pays back adequately and successfully to any government. And then the thing that really sort of upsets me the most when we look at our sector is that we are an aging population of builders, and we've got to get this intake of new and fresh skills and blood, and therefore addressing this chronic skill shortage has got to be a key priority for our sector going forward. So they're the three big areas that I think we're trying to sort of have a voice. Helena's really spearheading this. It will always have my support, and I hope it has everyone's support on the call. Back to you, Edwin or Helena.
Yeah, John, thank you ever so much, John. I know within your schedule there isn't no one more supportive of what we're trying to do than John. And I think Helena said at the start, this is not about Stark. This is about the UK PLC, really, because it spans far broader, far much broader than the construction industry. This is about people's health and well-being. This is about putting a roof over someone's head. This is about local communities. This is about tradespeople. And we all that are on this call, from all the different organisations, yes, this forum is geared towards SME house builders, but Helena has been to various different organisations in terms of trade, in terms of the general public are going to benefit from anything we collectively do on it. And I think it's incumbent upon us all to do something. This is very much a ground up approach rather than a top down, and 1 million signatures, and it is achievable. It will be significantly difficult to do it, and there's many that said, good luck, but collectively there's no way that we can't not achieve this if we use all of our business colleagues, customers and business friends and family to get behind this, because this is about UK PLC. It's not even about the construction industry. This is probably one of the most important growth levers the government has got to improve GDP. Because, and also to get the public with a much better feeling about the economy, because homes are critical to everyone feeling good about what they're doing. So I'm absolutely delighted that we've got 165, had 165 on this call. You all must know dozens of people that you can speak to, and I'd urge you all. We'll be sending something out. I think it will be going on LinkedIn and various social media. Please, please, please support, not Stark, support your business, support your families, support your friends, support your local communities by signing this petition and actually making the government do the right thing and really stimulate the economy through everything that we're all doing collectively. Back to you, Helena.
No, thank you, Edwin. I do appreciate that. So we'll go live officially with the full launch, as it were. We wanted to let you know first at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we will be pushing through, as you'd expect, the media release activity, but also the social media activity. I'll share, somebody's asked for the slides, I'll share the slides, and of course we'll share the link to the petition as well off the back of this call. But for us, the industry is in crisis, and it's really important that we manage this now as a crisis, because otherwise we're in a very, very bad place as a nation, as we know. So I just want to thank you for thinking about supporting. It only takes 1,000 people to go each and find 100 people, and lo and behold, we're kind of, we're there on the numbers. So I would really strongly encourage you to, as you said, Edwin, to hopefully join us as we together as an industry come together and get ourselves back on our feet. As a family, as a community. Thank you.
We've got a few moments. So I didn't know whether anyone had any particular questions that you wanted to raise. I know we've got some key people from different organisations. Here's an opportunity, while we've got 160 plus people on the call, to just share anything. So has anyone got any questions they'd like to raise at myself, Helena, or John Carter, our CEO? Ashley Burton, please. I've just seen you come up. Delighted to have you on the call, Ashley.
Oh, well, thank you for having us. I'm here with Tom and with Etienne as well from Chapter 1 Developments. Look, I think it's a great initiative, and thank you for raising it on behalf of SME developers. Really, we're struggling out there, and anything that can be done to raise, what we all need. We need a helping hand, whether that comes from materials, from finance, from just getting people onto our sites. It's so critical, and at the moment it's just going under the radar, and it's really quite upsetting when you look at our industry as a whole, that us SMEs just aren't represented anywhere. So you'll definitely be getting our signatures on there, and we'll shout as much as we can on our social media pages and LinkedIn and everywhere. So thank you from our side.
Thank you.
Well, that's very kind of you, Ashley. Thank you ever so much. Any other questions that anybody wants to ask?
Edwin, it's David Gackar.
Hi,
sorry,
David.
Hi there. I can't work out how to put my hand up on the electronic bit, so apologies.
That's your age, David.
Which is why I've butted in. Something struck me. I used to sit on the board of Build UK, and I'm still very involved with them. And they have ongoing initiatives which very coincidentally mirror what Helena has just proposed.
Okay.
Really, the question is, would you mind me sharing the slides with them probably tomorrow when they come through? Two, I think, well, one, because I think they'd be very supportive of it, and two, there are a large number of people. They represent main contractors, tier ones, and the specialist supply chain, and they do employ, or they do act for a large number of people, and I think it would considerably add to the amount of signatures. So with your consent, the question is it okay if I do that?
Absolutely, David. That is not a problem at all. It'll be my pleasure. And I'll share the presentation deck and also the petition link through Anna after this call. So absolutely fine. And as you rightly said, actually, Ashley was also referring to, we do not want anyone to go under the radar here, and this is about the full industry. It is about SME house builders. It's also about those, the subcontractor market. It's about every single person who touches this industry, and we really do believe this is a helpful way to kind of support and champion as best we can. So no, David, be our pleasure.
That's great, lovely. Thank you very much.
before I hand over to John Newcombe, who's the CEO of the Builders Merchants Federation, what you've just said, Alina, leads me nicely into Lee Bishop, who sits on the PLC board of Taylor Wimpey, who's been a huge supporter of the work and efforts we've been doing. Lee, I'm assuming you're probably in your car, but you've been a great champion. You joined us at an SME house builder event last year, and I think you got a standing ovation for the few words that you said that evening with Sarah Edwards, chair of the all-party parliamentary group. You're not going to get a standing ovation today because we're all sitting down and we're separate. But Lee, would you be kind enough, because as Helena said, this is an industry wide. Of course, we feel that maybe SMEs are not heard as well, but I know that the companies such as Taylor Wimpey are not having an easy time at the moment. And I think your thoughts and your support, and I know you're going to support us and back us, would be most appreciated on this call. Over to you, Lee.
Thanks, Edwin. Look, truth of it is I sit both sides of the line. My family business, through my father and my son, is a small house builder like everybody else on the call. The reality is I never joined them. I stayed with the major that I sit with now. These are unprecedented times. We are being challenged, all of us, in a market where our costs are being driven higher out of our control with future home standards. The planning upon which we depend is slow, difficult and costly to achieve. And the reality is our market is struggling for confidence to buy those homes or even have the ability to buy those homes. So actually, when, the 3 points that you've got are the 3 points that make the difference. They make the difference to everyone on this call, as well as the majors. And I think it's really important, and I did throw something up on the chat by the side, we are the future employers and we are the growth driver for the UK economy. A pound spent with us is a pound well invested for a government. And I think they've lost sight of that. And actually, this is a really good way to actually try and push that a little harder, both through the HBF and the majors, but also through all of this. So I absolutely support the initiative, and I'm more than happy to see what we can do to drive that number to the million.
That's amazing, Lee. Thank you ever so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
I thought that was really important, and because often we are working with the likes of Taylor Wimpey. If you think about it, Barratt Homes was Laurie Barratt, who once upon a time built one home to become a national house builder. Look at Redrow, Steve Morgan, the same situation. So we absolutely applaud you and thank you, Lee, for coming on the call and being a champion for SME house builders, as well as what you do. Really appreciate it. John Newcombe, CEO of the Builders Merchants Federation. You've spoken to me more in the last few days, and I think you have last year. So over to you, John.
Yeah, and obviously we had our meeting this morning, Edwin, so you know already that you guys have got a full support. We've already started that process, Helena, in terms of putting you in touch with the PR agency. As you know, I sit on the Construction Leadership Council. I just wanted to make the point that Build UK are a member of the Construction Leadership Council, the top 8 trade associations in the UK. So the people that you mentioned, HBF, Federation of Master Builders, you want all of those 8 that represent the big chunk of the construction industry to sign up to this. So I will bring this up at tomorrow's CLC meeting. Helena, if you could send me the slides, maybe potentially I might have an opportunity to show those slides. But Build UK will be covered anyway. Just think that I forget who it was that raised the issue of Build UK, but they are one of the 8 trade associations. I think it was you, David. So please believe me, they will be more than aware of the initiative from tomorrow morning when we have our meeting at 10 o'clock. And at that meeting, by the way, the Department of Business Trade, National Infrastructure and the Treasury are all represented on those CLC calls. So we need to get those key government departments behind this as well. So that's my promise and pledge to you guys, is that I will raise it at the very highest level. We'll make sure those government departments and other trade associations are fully briefed in what you guys are trying to achieve, which has our total and utter 100% support as a trade body.
Thank you, John.
Thank you ever so much. Have we got any other questions?
Edwin, Angus, I believe Angus MacDonald did have his hand up, but I'm not sure whether the blood
Angus
drained from it or whether he changed his mind. Angus, did you want to say anything?
Hi guys, thanks very much indeed. Great idea, fully behind it. My question is a quick one, and it's about the signatures that qualify within the petition. Do I presume correctly that those must be UK residents, citizens, in order to qualify? I mean, the reason I ask is we're owned by a wider organisation that employs 62,000 people, most of whom are across the world. So if we went out and asked those to sign the petition, for example, would we be wasting our time by focusing further afield than the UK?
Well, that's a great question. Thank you, Angus. I appreciate the opportunity to clarify. So I've sent the petition up to be focused specifically on Great Britain and Northern Ireland. So anyone who is over the age of 18, who is a British citizen and or a UK resident may sign the petition. So if you have a British citizen, perhaps based out of the state somewhere, they will be able to sign it. But I have kept it to that specific set of parameters at this particular point.
Thank you for clarifying.
Thanks, Angus.
Thank you for that question, Angus. Were there any other hands up, Helena, or are we?
That was it to this point.
Because some may know I've got a flight to catch and I daren't miss it. And I'm not being selfish, but I am actually. There's 2 minutes left, and what I was going to just say to everybody, there's a new organisation, a CIC organisation being formed called the Regional Building Foundation. And that was a research project between the King's Foundation and the University of Built Environment. I've seen a question about the University of Built Environment, and I think we should channel it through universities, Helena, and I think I've got some good contacts there. What I'd also like to say is Ben Bolger sits on the board of the Regional Building Foundation, and he is going to be one of our early signatories of that and put his name to it. So he works for the King's Foundation, and as you know, the King is very much a avid supporter of the SME market from what he's done at Poundbury, etc. So we've got some incredible organisations behind us, but what we need is energy and passion, because emails and communications often don't grab people. But a phone call, a bit of energy from everyone on this call, and we will achieve 1 million, and it will be absolutely significant, because we had a call with Sarah Edwards, who's chair of the all-party parliamentary group for R&B Housebuilders, and she said, if you do 100,000, that's one hell of an achievement. We're aiming for 1 million, and with the support of everyone on this call, I think we can do it. And I can just see Joe's got his hand up. Exactly. So I'm just going to do Joe. We've got 1 minute left, Joe.
Hi, Edwin. No, thanks very much for the call. I mean, it was just really echoing what you said. You beat me to the punch as always, because I noticed that Lee Bishop was on the call. I just thought this is definitely a time for us to try and collaborate with the bigger developers, where we all try and come on force together, because it's just affecting everybody. So I was just trying to reiterate that, and I know Lee's been a massive advocate of what we do. So just pushing that and trying to get some of the other bigger developers as well aligned with us. I think it's a time when we need to unify and do everything we can to try and change that system, because we're all hurting the same way. So that was it. And just thank you to you all for thinking of us and trying to help our cause.
Joe, thank you. We are at 4:30. Can I thank you all for coming on the call? It's been momentous, really. Something that kicked off 6 years ago with 12 of us, and we had, I think, 165 on this call 6 years later. So that is the power of all of the small SME house builders. You have created this forum that's made it as special as it is, to actually warrant our CEO from Stark being on the call today with Alina in terms of what we're trying to do. So thank you. Your voices are being heard. They will continue to be heard. And please get behind this campaign. On that note, my taxi's outside and I'm on my way to take a 2-week break if that's allowed. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Cheers.
everybody.
Thanks,
Take
Adrian.
care,
Enjoy your
everybody.
holiday.
Cheers,
Thank
guys.
you.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye.
Thanks, Edwin. Thanks.